of the church. Somebody not with the preacher. I said Ephesus lost its first love, but Jesus was still in the midst of Ephesus. In the midst of Ephesus, he was giving Ephesus a new vision. In the midst of Ephesus, he was giving Ephesus a second chance. In the midst of Ephesus, he was critiquing them. In the midst of Ephesus, he was there giving them hope and giving them a promise. Brothers and sisters, Ephesus lost its first love, but Jesus was still in the midst of Ephesus. Smyrna suffers persecution, tribulation, and poverty. Smyrna endures blasphemy and lives near the very synagogue of Satan. But the Bible tells us that Jesus is still in the midst of Smyrna. Yeah, I know I'm getting somewhere church quiet. Pergamos dwells where Satan's seat is. Pergamos has those who teach the doctrine of Balaam in its midst. Pergamos is the church that commits idolatry and fornication. But can I tell the church, Jesus is still in the midst of Pergamos. Thyatira suffers because of Jezebel. Thyatira has great tribulation. Thyatira goes through death. But in the midst of Thyatira's experience, Jesus comes to Thyatira. Sardis has those whose garments have been defiled amongst its numbers. But the Bible tells us that Sardis has God still in his midst. Philadelphia has those of the synagogue of Satan. But the Bible tells us that Jesus is still in its midst. And then we come to Laodicea, the last and the worst of the seven churches. Laodicea is lukewarm. Laodicea is self-deceived. Laodicea is wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. But I came here to let the church know that Jesus is still in the midst of Laodicea. What is your concept of God? What is your concept of God? Do you think that God would create his church, know that his church is an imperfect church, know that his church would fall and make mistakes, and yet walk away from his church when his church makes an error? Read from Genesis to Revelation, and you will find out that God is always with his people.